and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Stillwater, issue 4 by Image. Now, there is violence and some blood in this one, so if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, when we left off in issue 3, the 2 weeks of punishment for Daniel's mother have ended, and she's been dug up and they've hugged. We start this issue, it is 1986. We see Laura running home. She has a job interview. Baby Daniel, he's 18 months old apparently, is sitting in his chair, yelling he's hungry. Laura runs to the kitchen. She tells him, hold on, baby, I'll get you some, I'm gonna cut him up some hot dogs for the road. As she does this, she slices her finger and she's like, oh great, the last thing I need. Then she washes it and is about to put a band-aid, but then she looks at her finger and the cut is completely healed. Then we go to the, not town hall, but I guess the courtroom. No, it's the town hall, I think. They all gathered there. So it looks like there was more reports after what happened to Laura of people mysteriously healing. Like someone had an accident that blew up his foot and then the foot grew back. Holy shit. I actually mentioned something like that in the video for issue 3. So they don't know what to do, what's going on. There's the mayor. I don't get if it's the same mayor or not. It looks somehow skinnier than the one in issue 3. But he stutters all the same, so I think it might be the same one. I don't know. But anyway, he's, talking to the people, not very confidently. And then, of course, the judge, the asshole, Simon Taylor, steps in. Because, they want to figure this out, but he's like, no, wait. If we tell the outside world, people will come in here and will be guinea pigs. Which he does serve a fair point. People are going to see, wait, how are you not wounds healing? That is true, what he's saying. So he said, let's put some temporary, which of course it doesn't end up being temporary, rules for this situation for now. Fast forward 4 years, it is 1990. Laura has left Daniel, or Tommy, his birth name, Tommy, with a school teacher, I think, in the school, to babysit him. They talk on, how he would have been fine on his own, because, everyone's magically healing, so what could happen to him? But still, Laura doesn't want him to feel any pain regardless of that. And the teacher lady talks to her how there's fewer and fewer students each semester. Although it has been 4 years, so how much would a lot of kids, develop since then? But another thing is no one grows, and apparently they can't have children because of that. So my, not theory, but me thinking that they're all basically stuck at the same, at the same condition there were before this phenomenon happened is true. Because nothing changes, so they cannot procreate, even. And the children, they just keep growing up, but they don't have, their minds develop further, but their bodies stay the same. And this very much concerns Laura, you can tell. Then we go to the courthouse. The judge is there judging some man and his family. They've tried to, he sent a birthday card to his mother. Because people, they just have, relatives outside of the town. He sent her a birthday card and wanted to invite her. So he gets 6 months in well, jail for that. Well, their jail in there because he sent it unauthorized, and he's lucky that they caught it before it left town. Yee. Oh yeah, and also back in when they had the assembly 4 years ago, one truck driver was not driver. He's like, but I gotta send things out of town. Who's gonna reimburse me on that? But anyway, the sheriff, not the ginger chick, but the sheriff that was before her, Mike, who's a friend of Laura, or maybe more than a friend, I'm not sure. He was the one who carried Daniel outside of the town all those years ago. He wants to talk to the judge. And the judge wants to talk to him as well about getting a different punishment because, what's the point of punishing someone with lockup when they have all the time in the world? So they start to discuss, and Sheriff Mike's like, look, let's, talk about the Achilles heel rules or the Achilles rules. And he tells him, we said it back then, but, people they want to change. Their relatives outside of the town are getting older and they can't go visit them. And they have to keep rebuffing their being invited into the town. And, and Mike's also worried about the children that are just not developing. He's like, maybe we need to change things. We need to make it so that there are, supervised visits outside of town. And the judge is seemingly very angry about this, though he doesn't show it. He's pissed. He's like, look, we'll talk tonight, because Mike tells him, I've talked to the mayor about this, and he agrees. And he's like, all right, we'll talk about this later. You go and also think about those different punishments. I guess in the end that punishment was being buried 6 feet under. Anyway, then he goes to see Laura. She talks to him. They talk about this whole thing. And he tells her, well, don't worry, the mayor's with me, he can't overrule us both, and if that doesn't work out, then I'll think of something. As they're talking about it, Daniel goes down the stairs, tells his mother that he's not sleepy, if he can read some more, and she said, of course, sweetie. So yeah, Daniel is growing. He grows since then. He's about the mind of a 5-year-old now, but stuck in a almost 2-year-old body. Ugh, can you imagine that? It's like some scenario with vampires in certain stories, where they were like Claudia from the Interview with a Vampire, how she was turned at 5. And imagine she's immortal, her mind keeps developing, but her body stays the same. She cannot experience anything. Now, if she still had the mind of a child, that wouldn't have been such a problem. But since she has the mind of a grown woman, yeah, not pleasant. So that's decided. He says, I'll call you tomorrow, and he leaves her house. He's driving, and then he sees cars behind him, and then a car knocks into his. And it's, of course, our future dipshit deputy, Ted. He knocks into him. One of the other guys with Ted hits him in the head with his foot. And then Ted tells him, well, that's it. The mayor has decided to drop out of the whole thing. So now the judge decides. Basically get used to it and know your place. But he doesn't want, you to not be the sheriff anymore. Even though I made an argument, well, I would be a good sheriff. Yeah, right, you would. And And so that's it. They leave. Mike crawls a little further, and that's it. Then it's the next day. Laura has taken Daniel to the doctor, and the doctor tells her, "Look, Laura, what am I gonna do? I'm no longer, the traditional doctor anymore. He's perfectly physically healthy." And then she looks at Tommy. Daniel says, "Mommy's worried about me." So they step outside, and she tells him, "Doctor, what am I going to do? He's got the mind of a 5-year-old and the body of an 18-month-old. And then he tells her, "Look, Laura, I don't have the means to do anything about this, to research this. You're just going to have to make do and explain the situation to him." Then Mike comes in. He's still got some bruises on him. He's gonna take. Well, I guess depends on the damage. It's also how long it takes for you to regenerate. I'm guessing he might have been lying on the ground there maybe most of the night. He's relieved to see Laura. It's just when she wasn't in the house, he was really worried, and he's like, "Where's Tommy?" And they both look, and they start talking, and Mike tells the doctor, "Doctor, you might not want to hear this." And he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go and watch Tommy." So then he talks to her about it, how now that's it, the judge controls everything, and there's no way. And she said, "There's got to be, something to do." And then she said, "Well, what if they believed that we were dead?" And Mike tells her, "Laura, no one's going to believe you're dead. You both are." She said, "Yeah, but what about if it's only Tommy, Daniel? I could say that he was taken from my backyard by a wolf, that I just didn't keep an eye on him, because what would happen with a baby that heals, that is immortal, and he was dragged outside of the border of the town?" And Mike says, "Well, we're going to need help with this. We're going to need to ask help from Charles to place him with the family afterwards, and then keep us updated on him, and then maybe one day you can join him." So that's the plan, and he says, "You're going to have to, this is going to be hard for you. You're going to have to play the part of the grieving mother very well to convince them to sell this, that you really lost your son." And she's like, "Don't worry, Mike, that won't be a problem at all." She's looking at Daniel through the examination room, and she's already crying. So then they do this like they said. Laura goes and tells probably tells the townspeople, "I lost Tommy, I can't find him. I guess she hid him somewhere." So then everyone starts looking. The sheriff Mike can go, way more outside of town. So he's the one that takes him and then drops him off to where he's needed. The lawyer, Charles, is the lawyer for the entirety of the town. And he makes sure that everyone's affairs are in order. And he helps them. He's the one that makes sure that years later, Daniel gets that letter. And Laura's narrating all this, and she says that later, a few years ago, Charles disappeared, and also Mike disappeared somewhere. It's not clear where to. And that's what happened since then. The judge has been, having his iron grip on everything. So that's with the note that was later sent to Daniel. I guess Laura didn't find how to join him in the end. And then, let me tell you, again, Laura wanted him to leave. She said a lot of people were disappeared from Stillwater. And then we go to the present, but it's not mentioned what year it is. Well, I said Daniel's probably at least 20-something, so I guess maybe the year. They know what the part of now, it should have been, because it's the same panel. At first should have been now, and then the lower panel should have been Lara then saying that they sit on the bench outside her house, but only one ever returned, which is referring to Daniel. And Daniel, of course, can't believe this is happening, but she's so happy that he's back, that he's there with them. They go in, you see Ted, that asshole, spying on them, the deputy. Then she tells him, Daniel tells her, this isn't my home, I can't stay here. And she knows this, and then she tells him, you can't stay here, I get that. But what if I said, instead of going out into the world, we brought the world to us, son? And then you see a whole bunch of people in her house, doctors among them, and then, welcome to the welcome party. Really, Mr. Zdarsky, you couldn't think of anything a little more creative? Unless they are called the welcome party. But I think, I don't know, I feel like that could have been done better. Anyway, that's where issue 4 ends. Sorry, Masha. Alright, so we got the cover here. It's okay. You see Daniel and holding on the bars of a jail, because and also it's mentioned how this place is a prison, which it is. And you see him holding on to the bars, and right here you got the sheriff carrying him out when he was a baby. So, okay, and then we got, it's a fine cover. As it's more symbolism and shit, right, Vasya? Right, to the art then. Even though you've already seen it, I'll show you one page. I think you've seen a lot of it already. That's the same as it's on the cover, to be fair. Okay, you see there's Laura running to get ready. There's baby Daniel. You see she's cutting hot dogs and her cut is completely healed. And then you see, we got this here. There she is. I don't know if this man, is that the sheriff? No, there's the sheriff. There we go. Yeah, you see people there sitting. There's the mayor. There's Judge Asshole. And that's it. So that's the art. Okay, so after reading this, I was clearly wrong. This was never meant to be a 4-issue miniseries, because, this wouldn't have been any kind of wrap-up, really. But again, I wonder why it said, it was back when it was still on previews, it said it would only be 4 issues. Maybe it meant this would be the first part, and then later there would be more parts. I don't know. Maybe, it's possible. But anyway, so yeah, that clearly wasn't what it was meant to be. One moment. Right, so for the first 4 issues, the story is fine. Again, like I said in the video for issue 3, about issue 3, the pacing could have been a bit quicker. It's quite slow. I mean, 4 issues, we barely learned much about the town. I get it, we're first supposed to be introduced to Daniel, but still. This is, I think, 28 pages, and, not much progresses here. Again, I go back to what I said about Watchmen that I'm reading. In 1 issue, so many things fucking happen, and in here it's it's just, I wish the pacing was a little faster. But for what it is, I do suppose it's fine. Again, the story is slowly unfolding. So, clearly whatever this is happened, at least in here it seems it happened, 40-something years ago it started. And then the judge took hold of all of this. Now my question would be, did the judge know what this thing is? Because again, he already started setting up rules to make sure no one found this out. I mean, you're not maybe supposed to freak out, but how calm he is about the whole thing at that time makes it look like maybe he knew something. And now I was curious how this ends. So I did actually today, after finishing reading this, I went to look for the last issue online. And it looks like a whole lot of things happen there, and the ending is, I don't know, open or ambiguous. I won't go into detail, and obviously there's a lot I didn't bloody understand. But it looks like there's a lot more to this than you learn in the first issues. Might be a lot more to this, so perhaps the judge did know something about all of this. I mean, it seems like he's quite fond of, being in control of everything. And where did those people disappear to? Like, Sheriff Mike, where did the lawyer go? What happened to them? Did the judge do something to them, or did they escape on their own? I mean, again, would the judge, let's say if someone ran, would the judge send people to find them? Or would, what would happen? And how the people not realizing, or Laura, I think, says that maybe they're starting to realize that this is a prison. I mean, I don't know how you didn't realize that for 4 years of living like that. Yeah, so that's really left to be seen what's going to progress this. Again, why did Laura want Daniel to come back? If she knows what a hell this is to live like this and that you can't escape afterwards, why would you call your son back? Are they planning something to overthrow the judge and get control back of the town? Maybe that's why she needed Daniel, the only person she could really reach outside of the town to send him that letter. Again, because, granted, I don't think Daniel would have believed her if she wrote him a letter about all this. I mean, who would? Right? And Daniel also only found out a few years ago that he was adopted, because he had pretty regular adoptive parents. That must be what the lawyer, Charles, found for him. So yeah, I just wonder what was Laura's idea here. Why did she want Daniel to be brought back into town? What was her motive? She, all these, let's say 20-something years, has she been planning something? She'd been planning to do something and needed Daniel back for this? I mean, as a mother, you probably wouldn't want to use your kid for something this dangerous, would you? But who knows? Like I said, the idea of this is interesting. But the execution's just moving too slow. I think this should have just been a graphic novel and not a series. I don't know, again, I think if you read the whole thing at once, it's probably better. Because the way it is, just not enough happens in between. I mean, shit, I bet you I could have probably just filmed 2 issues at a time for a video, even. Because, yeah, it's just not much, not anything yet is clear about what's going on. Why this happened. I think as a short horror story, this might have been better. I don't know. I mean, I can't say I didn't like it, but I also can't say it was, anything like wow or that gripping. I think if it had better pacing, I think it would have been better. Maybe a different art style, perhaps. Again, the art is fine, but it's nothing to write home about. I don't know, I think this is just missing something for me. Because I do like this idea of this creepy town where no one ages and they're all stuck the way they are. then again, I think with the more horror angle, this would have been cooler. And also, god damn it, what an existence the judge has basically left people to. I think at that point, being lab rats would have been better. I mean, shit in hell, son. They can't leave, nothing changes, they can't have children, even. And whoever was unfortunate enough to be too young at the time is basically stuck being a baby or a little kid. A grown adult in a child's body. Again, back to Claudia. If your mind wouldn't change, that would have been different. I mean, it's still taking care of your child forever, but, at least your kid's the kid, so he's not going to have to have the horror of being an adult in a young child's body, or in Daniel's case, in a baby's body. I mean, can you imagine Daniel just continuing to grow and grow until he's like 20 or something? Imagine the horror for him. He's looking around and he's still a little baby. He doesn't develop at all, physically. But yeah, this just seems like really a nightmare existence. Like, at least if the kids could, go outside again, like Sheriff Mike said, supervise trips. And also, I wonder why the judge was so sure he could keep them all. Like, all you have to do really to end it all is just go outside the borders of the town and, off yourself, basically. And what if people just really broke, and then what? The judge would have had an empty town? Or would he what? Would he lure people from outside to fill it up? The only thing he had the concern of was the technology advancing, which is true. As what would they have done later on, really? And he's so disregardingly talks about, when he tells Sheriff Mike, the relatives will grow old and die. That is not a normal thing to say, is it? Again, did he know all this? Did he know that this, was he responsible somehow for this is another question. I mean, it's possible. But, who knows? So this is Stillwater so far. If you like, I guess, stories about weird towns and weird shit, I think you'll like this one. Or if you're a fan of Mr. Zdarsky as writing, I think you might like this as well. If you don't mind the spacing. And that is it. That's all I have to say about that one. I'm glad I finished it, and I'm, in a way, glad I didn't pick up the rest. Alright, folks, so that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!